Hi, I'm Andi Costello.
And I'm Shana O'Brien.
And we are the HomeGirls. And thank you so much for listening or watching our podcast this week. What are we going to talk about this week?
This week we are going to talk about how to hire a realtor. Now, if you're looking to buy or sell, you've got two excellent choices right here in front of you. Let's just be honest. But sometimes I know I don't always click with every person that I meet, and it's reciprocal. I might not feel like they're the best fit for me, and they're going to feel like I'm not the best fit for them. I might send them to you, you might send them to me. It goes back and forth, but eventually you may have to talk to another realtor besides the two of us, as much as we would hate to have to face that.
And I think just like any other industry, you might be wanting to interview a financial planner or your insurance salesperson. You might want to talk to a different agent. So today we want to talk about questions you might want to ask. You're thinking, well, okay, great, I go interview them. Well, it's not like a job interview.
Right, and sometimes people seem to feel like they're stuck. Like, well, I already have a realtor. She showed me that house. Like, you can interview, you can make choices. People will often feel the same way about their lender. I already got pre-approved and I don't really like him, but we already did it.
Right.
It's like, these are really huge financial decisions, so you should be exercising your right to make your own choice. So you have options. So our first tip would be, if you are somebody who uses a lot of social media, you have a lot of, a lot of us live our lives online. If you're on Facebook or Instagram and you get a few names of realtors that somebody recommends, look them up, look at their websites, look at their social media, and just see if their style seems to be a style that you relate to.
And not just that, also if they're on LinkedIn, and just see what they're posting about. Some people maybe are posting more personal things. Some people are posting maybe more business related topics, and just kind of feel them out a little bit before you meet with them in person.
Just kind of see what their style is and how that jibes with what you're looking for. And after you've narrowed it down to a few people, set up some face-to-face meetings. I say, we have a beautiful office with a great conference room, but I say do your meetings like in a neutral space, like do it at a coffee shop or someplace where you don't have to feel like you're visiting them on their home turf.
Right.
And when you set up some meetings, we've got a few interview questions for you. And this is something that if you want to email either one of us, we can send you out this list of questions if you need them.
Yes. The first question is to ask is whether the agent is a full-time agent. A lot of people in this business do it as a hobby or as a side hustle, as part of a full-time job. They're doing this on the side, and they're not doing it every day. They're not looking at houses. They're not talking to clients every day. And it's important, just like any other business, is this your hobby or is this your career?
And I'm not trying to knock people that are doing something part-time. There are successful part-time agents, but I've been on the end of a deal where we can't get an answer from the other side because their realtor is at work. And so my client is like, let's move on to the next offer if we can't close on this one. So it's a matter of when you need your agent, are you going to be able to get a hold of them?
Right. And I've run into that with lenders that do it as a side hustle, and they're at work and they can't respond when you need a pre-approval letter or during the day when you're out working because they're at work. So
that's just one thing to look at. Another one would be asking them what areas they specialize in. Clark County is so weird. Like, it's so diverse, and you can't just, like downtown is totally different from the east side and Salmon Creek and Philida and Hawkinson. There's so many little pockets that are just so different from other areas that you just want to ask about their experience in the area where you're selling or where you're thinking about buying.
Yes, that's a good question. Making sure that they're going to be able to answer your questions about a neighborhood, an area, what the traffic patterns are, about the school system, whatever is important to you as the client that might be working with that agent.
For sure.
Our next question is that we would encourage you to ask is, am I going to be working with you or somebody on your team? There are a lot of people in this business that have mega teams, and so you might meet with them and then they might hand you off to another agent. That happened to me when I bought my first house. I was referred to somebody who was a managing broker, but I didn't know that term at the time. Had been in the business a long time, which is why I got the referral. And I met with her, we hit it off great, and then all of a sudden, the next thing I knew, when I went out to go look, it was another agent. And I was like, what the heck? That's not who I interviewed and talked to. And I didn't realize what had happened, but now being a little bit more savvy and in the business, I understand exactly what happened. She was doing the lead generation and
right. And I mean, and it's not an unethical practice. I mean, one person might be the best representative and salesperson, whereas somebody else is the best buyer's agent, and they're on a team. But it's information that you should ask about in advance if it's important to you.
Yes.
And then our next question is, what sets you apart from other realtors? So that, I mean, like in any interview, I mean, we've all been on job interviews where, well, what makes you the best candidate for this job? It's one of those questions that really puts you on the spot. And so a lot of times people don't have a concise answer for that, and that's okay, because it is a question that puts you on the spot. But it gives you an opportunity just to see off the top of their head, what does somebody feel are their best strengths?
Yes, it's a good question. And along with that same vein, when you go to a job interview, you're often asked for references.
Exactly.
And people want to call and check your references, whether it's a former employer or a former coworker. And just like asking an agent may talk to a former client or somebody you've worked with before, you might want to do a little bit of homework.
Yes, and an agent should be able to give you a referral. They might say, okay, yeah, I know somebody who would be happy to talk to you. Let me just give them a heads up. I mean, that's reasonable. That's not baiting. That's reasonable to say, I need to let them know I'm going to give out their number. But they should be able to give you a referral.
Yes.
If they can't, that might be a little bit of a red flag.
Yes.
Another one is just to ask about what kind of clients have been a good fit for you, have been a bad fit for you, just to make sure that you're all on the same page as far as kind of what your work ethic is. I know a realtor, and I'm not making this up, and he is successful in the business, and he does not work weekends.
Yes.
And I know clients that can only look at houses on a Saturday and Sunday. So if they were referred to that realtor and they're having an initial conversation, that's information that needs to be out on the table.
Right.
Because it's not going to be a good fit. So you need to find out if your schedules and your work ethic kind of align with each other. If I'm a realtor with a 4-year-old in daycare that I have to pick up every day at 5 p.m., then my best client is not going to be a young couple who get off of work at 6 and have to look at houses in the evening.
Right. Very true. And then the last question we'd encourage you to ask is if there's ever been a complaint filed against you as an agent. Of course, in this industry, people can be disgruntled and maybe write a bad review on Yelp or Zillow or something like that. But actually going to that next step and filing a formal complaint, you probably want to know about that.
Yeah, as members of the National Association of Realtors, we have a code of ethics that we have to adhere to. And so complaints can be filed not only because somebody did something that maybe is illegal, but ethics complaints are also a very big part of our industry. So you're going to want to find out if that is something that the realtor you're interviewing has had filed against them.
Yes. So those are our questions that we would encourage you to ask if you're thinking about buying or selling a home. And we, again, as Shana mentioned, would be happy to email or text those questions to you if you'd like them in writing. And also, as part of our home podcast, we do have a maintenance tip that we provide every week on your home, or even if you're renting, just something that you should think about to make sure that your home is kept in good condition.
Yep, and especially if you think you might ever want to sell it, it's better to stay on top of those home maintenance tasks along the way, as opposed to try to do them all one weekend before you want to list your house.
Right, and if you want a copy of our weekly home maintenance tip that's listed, broken out by week, you can text the word free to 77948. And our tip this week is to clean your dishwasher filter. You might not know when you open up your dishwasher that there is often a little gasket at the bottom of the dishwasher. So if you put in dirty dishes, all that food that maybe is caked on there has to go somewhere, and it doesn't necessarily just go down the drain. So unscrew that gasket, rinse it out, put it back in there. And you also might want to look at your sprayer arms that are under that top drawer or top rack in the dishwasher, and make sure that food hasn't gotten caked on those arms so that the water can properly spray and clean your dishes.
As a seasoned homeowner, I have known about the dishwasher filter for approximately 20 minutes now.
I clean mine out regularly, so this was not a surprise to me.
Yeah. Didn't know that was a thing.
Yes.
So thank you for the tip.
Again, if you're interested, we have our free guide. Text the word free to 77948. We'd appreciate a like, comment, or review anywhere where you might be listening to our podcast on any of the platforms.
You can find us on YouTube, on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Spotify, on Facebook, and on our website, which is homegirlspodcast.com.
Thank you so much for watching or listening.
See you next time.